Hello, welcome to Jessie at Home. This video is going to show you how to join yarn using the magic knot method. So the yarn that I'm using here is a creme de la creme, which is Coats or Red Heart. And I have two different colors here so you can really see how this join goes. This is, you can kind of get really finicky and use this to join two different colors and get the knot in exactly the right space if you want to take your time and be finicky about it. But it's also a really good knot for joining yarns. If it's the same color and you're just adding on a new skein, a new ball of yarn, this is great for that. If you're doing something with scrap yarns where the colors are constantly changing from one piece to the next and it doesn't really matter where those changes are, this is great for that. A note about what the kind of yarns are that you can use this with. If your yarn is a feltable yarn, I do prefer the wet felting method to this one because there's not really, it's much smoother. If you're changing colors though, that one doesn't give you an abrupt color change like this one does. If your yarn is really a slippy yarn, a really fine slippy yarn, or a yarn that can't really take a tug that much, this might not be the greatest join for you. You kind of have to give it a try, see what you think. With yarns like this is just 100% cotton. This is great. It's great for these. It's great for most acrylics. It's just those really slippy yarns that they just kind of take themselves, they undo themselves. But in most cases, this works wonderfully. I actually learned this the very first professional crochet class I ever took. At my first knit and crochet show, I took a class with Margaret Hubert, and one of her students in her previous class had taught her this knot, and she just thought it was the greatest thing ever, and she taught all of us. And I remember her and my friend Lorene from Creation Crochet each had one end of the two yarns they had joined, and they were both pulling on it, and they couldn't break the knot. It wasn't coming undone. They were going to break the yarn before the knots came undone. So that pretty much convinced me that it works. And I always say, if it's good enough for Margaret Hubert, it's good enough for anybody, you know. She's pretty awesome. So let's do this magic knot method here. And what we do is you have your two yarns. I've kind of laid them out one on top of the other. And you want to go, I start off with the top one and I wrap it over and under. So you've actually made a little U. You haven't actually done any knot yet. You've just made that little U. And now I take this end and I'm going to wrap it around to cross and then underneath that same little piece. Okay? And then you pull that and it ties nicely around the bottom piece, but your ends are still lined up facing the same direction. Okay? Now we're going to do the same thing upside down over here. Go over and then under, and then I wrap it around this little piece. And again, I pull it to make this knot. You're going to pull the knot really tight. Okay, and again, you'll notice whoop, that my yarn is going this direction, my end is still going this direction. I didn't turn it around when I made the knot. Now you take these two knots, these two ends that are still attached to your yarn, and you pull them. Okay, and then I usually will kind of pinch both of these ends, pull this knot, pinch both of these ends, pull this knot, and then give it one more tug. Now this is tight, alright? I'm giving this a really nice tug. Now you take your ends and you cut them really close. And this is like the terrifying, I looked at Margaret like she must have been smoking something. And I was like, are you serious? You're really going to cut those that close to the knot? She's like, yes, it'll work, trust me. And I did. And you know what? It works. Okay? This is awesome. It holds those ends together. Now, yes, you have a little knot. You have a little bump in your yarn. But most of the time, it disappears. Okay, if you're using this in the middle of a crochet stitch, it's really easy to get that worked into a center part that nobody sees. Okay, it's very easy to make this disappear. You just have to decide if this is the right join for you, for your particular project. And if it is a wonderful join that I really like. So there you have the magic knot join. Thank you.